The team member filter is value. Every single one of us wants to feel valued. We want to, and I say team member instead of employee. I feel that just that term, team member, communicates, hey, we're in this together, right? There's something bigger than all of us. There's not any one of us that's better than the other. That we just have different roles on the team. This is a book launch team, right? Because there are people on this team, many of you, all of you, at different times, at different places, are going to add value to others on the team. Or right now, Jelena was a great example of this, adding value to me, asking me questions to help make this book launch better. That's why I need you on the team, because every single one of you is going to make this better. And so we want to communicate when we talk about our team members, our followers. If you have a team of people that they look to you for leadership, they say, whether it's official or unofficial, it can be people that you're mentoring. You don't work with them. You're not necessarily their leader, but you have influence in their life. We have to take this very sacredly. And we have to understand, I need to communicate value to these people. I don't know where that comes from. I know it's true. Like I said, these are intuitive things to me that I've seen, that I've experienced, that I know for myself and that I've seen, and it resonates with others that I've worked with. I don't know if it's kind of that parent-child relationship thing that, every kid wants from their parent, every kid wants from their coach, every kid wants from the person they look up to. They want that person to say, man, you're valuable. You have value innate inside of you, right? And you're worth my time. You're worth my focus and attention right now. I find you valuable. Every single one of us wants that. A survey of over 2,100 individuals, when asked what the top 3 qualities they're looking for in a leader, these were the top 3 responses out of 2,100 people. The first one, communication. Number 2, interpersonal skills. And number 3, values and ethics. Let's focus, and we know communication is a big deal. I've got a whole section in the book, 7 or 8 chapters just on communication. But the interpersonal skills piece of it, let me show you what this survey said. It said, these are behaviors and tactics that are critical but often overlooked, including emotional intelligence, supportiveness, approachability, empathy, and patience. What are they saying? I want you to value me. I was in a training recently. I don't want to say how recent because people on the call might be in here or people watching it, but very recent. And I with this particular organization, I coach the senior leaders. I do training, group training with the mid-level managers. We're in the room. I like to kind of go back and forth and talk to them. And I got all kinds of notes of how things are going. What are the problems in your organization? What can you fix? What can we work on? And one of the biggest things that they said during this time was they want to feel valued by their leaders. They want to feel valued. They want to feel like they are contributing to the overall goal. Some specific items that they said are, I want them to point out what I'm doing right. I worked at Costco for many years. When I was there early on, so I helped open a store outside of Dallas. So you got all the corporate trainers in. We had people fresh from California, from the main store in San Diego. They'd really come up throughout the organization, and they're telling us the culture. I bought in. I was all in with Costco. I was super excited. Still a member today. And I'm talking to them, and one thing they said that stuck out to me, they said, you'll know you're doing something right if we don't say anything to you. We will tell you if you're doing something wrong. And I thought, well, that sucks, right? I mean, that just sucks. I want you to tell me when I'm doing something right. You can tell me when I'm doing something wrong, but I also want you to tell me when I'm doing something right. Why? Because I want to feel valued. I want to know where I'm at in this organization. And if you think that my contributions are valuable. And another way that these people that I was doing training with said that they want to receive value from their leaders is, I want you to identify and speak to my potential and help me achieve it. Like, I want you to identify, just say, if you see some leadership qualities in me, just tell me you do, and help me, tell me about a book I can read to get better in that area. Simple things like that communicate value. Now, let me go through a list of things of ways you can communicate value, or what do I value? I've got 4 here. Value their contribution to the team. Value your team members' willingness to follow. Value them as a person with inherent value, and then value them as a teammate. Hey, I'm happy to have you on the team. How do I communicate that value? Well, a simple nonverbal way to communicate that you value them is look them in the eye when you're speaking with them. One of the most frustrating things I've had over the years is distracted leaders, right? When a leader asks me a question, a specific question, and I begin to answer it and they start to look around, or they pick up their phone, or they start answering emails while I'm answering the question that they just asked me. Does that make me feel valuable? No. That makes me shorten my answer and just kind of do the bare minimum, because obviously they're not engaged. They're not interested. They don't care about what I'm saying, right? Another way is you can tell your team, hey, I value you. I value your contributions. I value every one of you that are doing different things. I talked about Heather Bruce last week, set up an opportunity for me to speak. Different people throughout the process, my mom, my sister, editing, my dad. I'm sure I know by the end of this, every one of you is going to love my dad. You're going to request to be friends with him because he is just a fire hydrant of encouragement, right? Everybody has different pieces that they bring to the team, and we've got to tell people that we value them, and we're grateful for that. I said this was going to be a short teaching, and I'm just going on and on. I haven't got off the first point. I want to share one more story though. I want to go big on this one, and I'll shorten it up. I had the opportunity to speak with the original COO of Chick-Fil-A. So when he started, they had 2 stores in Atlanta. When he retired, they had 900 stores, over $1 billion company. So I just kind of lucked into having a conversation with him over the phone. And there was a quote that I liked that I'd heard was attributed to him. And it was, find somebody doing something good today. And I asked him, I said, where did that come from? And he told me kind of the evolution of him. He was a very critical person with a critical eye. And he really felt like his purpose in life was to find problems and fix them. But he did it in a very critical way. So he recognized this when, I don't know, he was 40, 45 years old. And he began that process of changing his behavior. And it totally revolutionized his leadership and just his impact within the organization, and helped people. He realized that encouragement and switching it and finding people doing good things, it really changed his whole leadership and his leadership style. And I asked him, I said, have you ever found a problem with doing that? Is there a downside in encouraging people and finding what they're doing right? So the only downside that I found is when operators, because he's talking about the Chick-fil-A culture, operators, owners is kind of the term they use. He said, if I found operators were praising or celebrating average behavior. So I don't want you to hear me wrong. We want to value the people on our team, but we want to celebrate that above average, that great, excellent performance. And that is what is going to create that culture of a place of encouragement, but also a place of excellence. So I wanted to share that with you. Number 3, be interested in them as a person. If you want to add value to your team, be interested. Just ask them about their life. What's going on outside of work? Invest in them. Invest in their personal, professional growth. Number 5, another way that you can communicate value to your team is set aside. Actually, let me tell you a study done by Inc. magazine of over 1,500 business professionals. They found that among other findings, they discovered that when an employee feels heard, that person is 4.6 times more likely to feel empowered to perform to the best of their abilities. So when you listen, right, take some time to stop talking and listen to your team, and they feel empowered and they're going to go out and perform even better. Number 6, acknowledge them publicly for their accomplishments and privately for their failures. That's how you can show them you value them. And then number 7, help them find their fit, discover their strengths, and position them for success. All right, so that's how we add value. The value filter, you want to all your communication, what you say, how you interact with your team, you want to communicate value. And those are some ways you can do it.